Unfiltered Path podcast, where we explore life's journey without constraints of filters. In a world saturated with highlight reels, we dive deep into the true essence of individual experiences, offering listeners an uncensored glimpse into the triumphs, struggles, and transformative moments that have defined us. Our mission is to provide hope, inspire resilience, and remind you that every path, no matter how windy or rocky, can lead to growth and enlightenment. Join us as we navigate the uncharted territories of truth, and to be moved, be inspired, and discover that you are not alone in this unfiltered journey of life. Welcome. Hi, my name is Danielle. I am one of the co-hosts here today. I am an aerialist. That is a fancy term for performing suspended in the air. I'm also an educator, so I teach other people how to do it as well. I am joined today with my co-host.
Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Dubal. I am the owner of Valued Productions. We provide video marketing strategies for businesses, help save time, increase sales through the medium of video. And I am joined by my awesome co-host here today.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Trinity Baker. I am a mindset coach. So I take people from that survival mode that 86% of Americans are living in to thrival, loving our life, stepping into our true self, and really enjoying this journey that we're on. And I am so personally pumped for this episode with our guest all the way from California. Rhett, would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Rhett Strika. I'm founder of Honorary Godparent Family Spiritual Psychotherapy.
Rhett is a child guru, specifically, Rhett, with children with additional needs, with heightened needs, individual children who are struggling mentally. And what I love that you do is you really help them find themselves and help them work with who they are, their soul, right? And then what Danielle always says, which is then their avatar, really controlling their body, knowing who they are. So tell us a little bit about why you got into this and your passion for children.
Well, that could be a really long story, but if I can give you the Cliff Notes version, I just saw how much they were struggling, especially under adult instruction in public schools. I started working at all different age levels. I was a K through 12 teacher for a while, a daycare director for a long time on a military base in Detroit, Michigan. So I was able to see anywhere from like 6 weeks, as young as 6 weeks, all the way up till when they're graduating. And it always came back to like the same thing. There was a lack of emotional intelligence and a lack of developmental appropriate practice. So there was a disconnect. So with that, there was a behavior issue, as well as a lot of internal struggle with like anxiety and depression and things like that. And I thought there's got to be a way that I can help on a bigger level. What is it? Should I become a school principal? Should I become a superintendent? Like, how do I change things? And after I started talking to a lot of my mentors, it came down to like counseling. If I get trained and go for a master's in clinical counseling and school counseling, I can kind of go from both ends here and and counselors like to use the phrase, we're an agent of change. So I wanted to be the biggest agent of change possible, for especially in the public school system. And that's still my biggest goal while I'm here on the planet and trying to make bigger things happen for kids. In the meantime, I'm out of the school system and I get to see them more in their home environment now.
Which is, I think, so important from a standpoint of a parent who has a child that has heightened mental health needs. The home environment is really one of the only places that they show their true struggles, their true challenges, who they are, like 100%. And so I see that disconnect when we go to the office, play those games and the toys, and we talk about things because it's forced. And so I love what you do so uniquely, right? Because you see an issue and you see how, I love what you said, right? How in here on earth.
Yeah. That's what I hope is, and what I feel, that I hope that I'm guided and that I'm right. And I think I might be spot on there, that while I'm here, I have some work to do in trying to help kiddos that really can't advocate for themselves and really don't have the mental capacity to do so, even if they're what would be considered neurotypical, but especially neurodivergent kids with sensory needs. We have a lot of things that are up on the rise in public school systems, but schools deal with things called 504s and IEPs, which are special programs so that kids can have more bathroom breaks or abbreviated test time, the accommodations that they need so that they can have a more fruitful life in the public school system. Unfortunately, these teachers have like 28 of their 30 kids have these, and by law, they're supposed to accommodate all these accommodations, and there's a lot of things that get overlooked. So what we really have to work on is giving the kids the tools they need so that they can cope, because eventually they're going to be in a world where there aren't accommodations just given to them in an ableist society, basically. So my goal is to get them having their own tools in their toolbox rather than having the codependency and need to constantly rely on somebody else to accommodate them.
Your work experience is really profound in terms that you can tell you're on your path, because like Detroit, Michigan, you know, it's on one of the top lists of most dangerous cities. So I imagine that experience is intense. And then you said Army.
Yeah, I am a civilian, but I was hired by
now.
because I've never been in the service, but I was hired by there's two military bases in Detroit, Selfridge Air Force Base and Detroit Arsenal, that makes basically all the weapons for the United States. We're one of the main I wanted to say campuses, but I would say military compound kind of things like that. So on base, military bases, that the kids are no different really than anywhere else, other than a lot of them are traveling kids. So that was a new piece too that was kind of interesting, that came into my awareness, is that there's that additional piece. If you were moving around the country constantly in your formative years, like how exactly does that affect you? So it's been nice to have a versatile work background. I appreciate you recognizing that. I definitely looked at every job that I've had and said, what can I take from this so that I can, whether I liked the job or didn't like the job. And there were plenty of like in the trenches type jobs that I worked for 20 years. And what can I take away from this so that I can use this to help someone else or for another job in the future? And you look at it like training. So I appreciate you saying like your past work history. I'm like, thank you. Because I do like to take whatever job that I've had in the past and say like, how can I apply this to what I really want to do for my bigger goals in the future?
Well, it seems like you were guided, and then you took the time to get additional education too, to just be even more prepared. And now you're traveling, so you're affecting so many more people. That's really humble. That's a beautiful thing. I love it. I can relate. I work with homeschool students, and I teach an art that is otherwise exclusive to cities and money. So it's real like hardcore humble work currently, in terms of me just doing it. It's from the heart what I'm still doing, because there's nobody just hosting me and making it happen, you know? I always see jobs available in Orlando and all this stuff, and I'm in Maine, like creating the jobs. Do you see what I mean? Like I'm like 5 steps behind that, just so our community can have that luxury.
Well, thank you for all that you do so that you can build up that community around you and give them those kind of resources, because it's the only way that people will have access to anything. So thank you for giving them access to that.
Thank you. I see it like you do in terms of like coping. It was a coping tool for me. So that's really just at the root of my why. Is it's an art form. It's a way to express yourself. It's so beautiful, and it's an independent athletic adventure. So it's like a conversation with your own body, and people don't get that opportunity all the time. So yeah, I see it as a coping skill. I really, really, really relate to what you do. Because even though my life may seem like, oh, she's just an aerialist, my why is like more closer to you than what you would see from the outside, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a really interesting profession that you have. I got into learning a little bit about that, even though I haven't done any of that before. When I want to say like 15 or more years ago, Pink was on the Grammys, or maybe it was the MTV Music Awards. And I was like, listen, Pink is doing this, the artist Pink. I'm like, what is happening right now? I want to be able to have that upper body strength. And when you said it's like a dance and it's lyrical and things like that, it really shows there's like a mind-body connection there therapeutically. And I want to learn more about that, how that could work for people.
There's sensory with the silk. It also acts as water, so I can put it under people's armpits, and people that can't do normal exercise all of a sudden can. It's an art form. It's an athletic adventure. So you put someone in a hammock and they have sensory issues, and I close it all up, they literally feel like they're back in the womb. I like see people revert emotionally all the time to these small things. And that's truly like, I use those tools when people come in with addictions or open about struggles. Is I look at it exactly how you do in your job. What's so interesting, since you said the Pink thing, I want to touch on that. So whenever someone asked what I was doing, I'd be like, oh, I'm an aerialist. About 80% of people didn't know what it was, nor do they care to ask you what that is. They'll just stay quiet and don't bother. When Pink started doing it, people started clicking what I was. So thank God for her, because I was one of the earlier old school aerialists. Like, it was because of her, people could see what I was. And it was kind of cool because people envisioned me in stilettos on a giant stage flying, when really it was like clubs and DJs. But close. A lot like that. Yeah, so thank God she came along, because it gave especially for people in Maine the idea of what I was doing, because it was like 2011, like just it was just the art form had just started taking popularity. When I was recruited, I still didn't even know who Cirque du Soleil was, and I was recruited by them, like the cast, and I didn't know who they were. Like, like when you, like, I just didn't even know who their importance. So I was shocked when I figured out that that was who saw light in me. I was like, oh my God, really? Me?
But it often does a lot take that one person that believes in you or shares you the light or shares you the possibility or shines the light on your skills some way, somehow, that one shows others, brings that awareness from others, right? But also awareness for yourself that like, hey, I really can do this. I really am on the right path. Yeah, oftentimes I think we all see that in clients. Like, Graham, I'm sure you've had a client that's like iffy on how can I get behind that camera? I'd have anxiety, or what if I say something wrong, or my facial features or whatever, and then all of a sudden they do it and it like clicks. I mean, I think I was one of those clients.
Yeah, most definitely. You most definitely were. And it just kind of shows the whole the power of testimonials, of someone else talking about and giving that opportunity. I mean, just kind of on a side note of like with marketing and stuff like that, I've had the most success with like running ads or doing marketing campaigns or things like that, where the stuff that we're pointing to is like case studies or testimonials or things like that of people talking about that business or whatever the thing is, and so having that opportunity of someone, highlighting their experience, which I think is awesome with what you do, Rhett, like, being that light and like giving that opportunity for someone younger. Like, I just think of like where I am now, like there's so many opportunities to kind of steer those paths early on and have someone have some of these similar realizations that the four of us are having here now. I'm 37 years old, but being able to do that when they're 6, 7, 8, I think that's so powerful. And like, the more we can do that as, adults and the younger generation, and like be that light for other people, it just makes society a much, much better place to live.
Agreed.
Generations, really. I mean, I come from a family that is peppered with mental health and addiction in so many different ways. And I think I was looking back on my son's struggles and I was asking myself, like, why? Like, what is this here for? Always asking that question, like, furthermore, like, bigger purpose. What is this here for? Because I think there's like billions of lessons and everything that happens for us, right? One of them is, I think, to bring awareness and be open about it, because my family wasn't. And that's why that's why they turned to abuse, drugs, and alcohol, and then it took their life, right? Because there was no openness, there was not seeking the right supports, there was not exploring like all the professionals like you that are out there. And so I love the awareness alone. I think that changing generations starts with just the awareness of, hey, this shit is hard. Let's talk about it and find you the right supports instead of numbing it, like society makes so easy for us to do, right?
Yeah. What's nice about working with kids is that you get them at that age where they're wanting to do change. They want to meditate. They want to learn these things. And so they don't go in with a preconceived notion in most cases that this is this new age magical thinking type thing, when there's a lot behind, or that it's religious, that I can't meditate, that's Buddhist and I'm Catholic, or I'm like, you're missing it. So you really don't get that with kids. I joke that the hardest part of my job is the parents.
When you were talking, I started thinking about how many parents are that kid parenting the kid. You see what I mean? And how so many parents deserve a little you to go on a beach walk. I did mentally think that as you were talking, which is interesting. I was like, the adults need it too.
I have a few adult clients. I see kids, but all the adults up to the age 26. But I do have like instances where I'll make an exception. And I pick 26 because that's when they say the brain is done developing. So I can help with a lot of transitions when kids go from high school to college, or they graduate with their bachelor's degree. And I do have experience in like career readiness. So that being said, lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Oh, good.
It's only 6 a.m. on your time, so it's awesome.
Yeah.
I would not be okay.
Super glad that you.
Prayer, Danielle says, "Oh my goodness, I love that." Danielle, do you want to spice things up with a random question for us?
Yeah, let's do it. Ooh, I didn't see I picked this one. Okay. If you had to write a 1-sentence mission statement for your life, what would it be?
For my life, I'm like, hurry, get out my mission statement for Honorary Godparent.
Wow. You.
Expect the unexpected and power through it.
That's a good one. I like that. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
I've never really thought about like for my life. That was deep.
Yeah.
I know. I got me when I read it. I was like, I don't know. Like, I should have pre-thought about this one a little bit. I'm even like, mission statement. Let me make sure I like accurately execute that.
Where's my handy assistant?
Yeah. I think mine would be grow through what you go through.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think it's all about shit's gonna happen. Life happens, like literally every day life happens. And we have like the entire purpose of life happening is to grow and enjoy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I always say it's an opportunity for spiritual growth, but
100%.
I joke that if people pray, we're all inclusive here, but like imagine someone's praying, they're like, "Dear God, help me with this." It's like, be careful, because God likes to throw really tough things. So I was saying, gently help me with that problem.
Yeah. It's like praying for patience, and then all of a sudden you get all this this stuff happen. Like, oh my God, what is going on here?
Gentle spiritual growth. I
I totally added that one to my prayer journal.
Yeah, that's good. That is
Like,
good.
how to pray has definitely been a journey, but it's also like intention. And oh my God, that's like its own podcast conversation. But
Yeah.
I don't know how to articulate myself in like a mission statement. I really like feel I read the sentence that I knew I was gonna be like,
Yeah, that's a tough one. Mission statement for my life. Oh man. You guys had really good ones that like I could totally get behind.
I feel like you say a lot and you talk a lot about your soul and your avatar and how we feel
spiritual. I've always known.
Yeah, but I feel like your mission.
Other people try to explain, talk me out of it my whole life. It's hilarious. So, I'm an old business card. So my first business card. So I'm just gonna run with it. I began a mission to find my inner purpose and trust my inner voice. Or it worded something like that. It was worded a little.
I like that trust my inner voice part.
That's the part that stood out. But that was in it. It began a mission to something and to trust my inner voice. That I'm my mission, I don't know how I would word it, but I have such
really love it.
And instincts. And I think we all do. And it's that being guided, or I don't know, like that's where I'm at, like always knowing that. And I've been whenever I'm the most confident or successful or happy or not feeling anything, but in a healthy way, is usually when I'm in touch with that voice. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. A lot of the people I work with in general, it doesn't really matter what age, trusting the inner voice, if they learned at a young age, like to only listen to their parent, like rub dirt in it, for example, get up, you're fine, and the kid's not, but all the siblings are fine, but they have maybe some sensory issues. And so they just start doubting. When I feel that way, it's not real. When I just like brush it off, and they start doubting their inner voice, they really don't understand it. And there's lots of disconnect. Trusting your inner voice, such a huge, crucial part of our journey. I love that part of your mission.
I love that too. Yeah, I love that. I'm doing a free training. I'm not free training. I'm doing a workshop in a couple of weeks on mastering your inner voice, or your inner peace, I should say.
I saw that in the email. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm and that's one of the topics for one of the days, is really tapping into your true inner voice versus trying to quiet and calm and just kind of numb the inner voice altogether. Because I think that there is that fine line. Like when we talk about inner voice, oftentimes, and my clients at least, they come to me and they have that inner voice that is negative self-talk, that is very limiting. Like you said, right? Like everything that we've learned from the second that we started comprehending our life around us, right? And so a lot of times they say, I want to hush. I want that little inner voice to be quiet, but we don't need it to be quiet. We need it to be our true inner voice, because our true inner voice is where that intuition comes from. That's where our true selves come from. Those positive words and affirmations that we can and have the potential to harness on a day-to-day, minute-to-minute basis. So I love that. I love that distinction between like your true inner voice and just like that busy inner chatter. That's very disempowering.
Yeah, that's a lot of programming and things that are just simply outside of us. Like there is a spiritual warfare happening on, and we're just like sponges to it all. So that I understand. I wake up with it every day. In fact, I'm a ninja with the thoughts, for real. Inner voice is not always positive.
Yeah.
You got that? And the inner voice is don't do that. You're not acting right. What's going on? You really think that choice is that great? But tools. So to hear your inner voice is a skill set, right? Like you guys would definitely agree with that. So that's where like meditation, fasting. Usually when I'm like, I can sense a lot's going on, I'll fast, because that's the dramatic of all of them, right? But then, like Graham meditates every morning. I'm more responsive meditating. Like if something happens, I know to tap or to sit down or to refocus the energy. I don't know if I always just start my day with it, which is cool that you do that, Graham. Yeah. So what's yours, Graham? Did you think of one?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know. The first thing that comes to mind is something like musical. So like dance to the rhythm of your soul and play the music with the people around you. Something like that.
Much. Oh, yeah, that Graham, that is amazingly fits you too.
Yep. I think that's yeah. That was a tough question. That was a good one. Got my brain going for sure. I need more coffee.
We're gonna have to like comment some ones we've thought of after the fact because it's something that can generate a lot of thought.
Yeah.
I'm definitely using it for my business meeting one a week.
Yeah.
They're gonna be in their 15-minute breakout rooms, like decoding their life. Existential crisis.
Yeah.
Everyone comes back to the main room, like just like completely confused, not there. Oh, good Lord. Rhett, so tell us, if we have one of our listeners is a parent, is in the educational system, is just like really connecting with what you do and wants to learn more about what you do, where do they find you?
My website is honorarygodparent.com. I'm also on all social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I read kids' books. Usually they're emotional, intelligent kids' books. One of my favorite ones is called Clark the Shark. If you guys ever want to check me out on YouTube, I try to do the voices and everything. I'm not an actor, so that was fun to do. I love to do Clark the Shark. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, my phone number is California phone number. You can find me. So it's 949. I'm like 4156779. People actually need to work to memorize phone numbers these days.
Yep.
That's a thing.
Yeah. That's a thing.
Great. I never want people to know my number. Like even when it's like an ad, I'm like, I kind of want to like cover it, even though I'm supposed to want people to want to call me.
Oh, I love. What a great resource you are. I mean, even just I did that. I'm totally gonna go check that out now.
Well, I'm also on Psychology Today, which is like what I consider and many also consider the top website to try to find someone that's like a certified, legit person to work with. Whatever need is out there, you can put in your insurance, you can put in what exactly you're looking for, whether it's for family counseling or anxiety or depression, whatever you have going on. So if you look me up, you should find me under a lot of stuff that has to do with kids and everything that they work through. I also work a lot with the LGBTQ population here in Orange County. I'd say more than half my caseload identifies somewhere on what they call the LGBT word alphabet. It's like LGBTQIIA. I think we're to that many letters now.
I appreciate your patience with people that may not know or memorize all that. And so you're like, the alphabet.
LGBTQ alphabet. I like that. That's yeah. I back what Danielle just said. I appreciate it. Because I remember taking some, I'm a former nurse, so I've taken some training on LGBTQ population as far as connected to the elderly. But I was always that person that was like, thank God for these people have patience with me, because it is a whole new area. And I think that there's so much education that can be done. So I appreciate the yeah.
Yeah, because people mean well. Most people mean well. So we just like got to be trained on like what's appropriate. And so that was just really charming and cute. I got recertified out of Los Angeles. So my teacher actually lives out there and we do Zoom education, and I'm starting again in June. So made me think of that. That's awesome.
Oh, coast to coast. I love technology. That's amazing.
I know, how beautiful, right? Like, it's cool.
So grateful. So grateful. Well, we hope our listeners loved our guest. I'm sure that you did. A little bit of a different conversation around kiddos this time. So really pumped for that. I think it really comes down to the education and just making people aware that there are kiddos. Every kiddo has special needs. I mean, I think that that's the bottom line. Every single kiddo has special needs. And as parents, I think we're constantly identifying that, right? Like, Danielle, you know what your kiddos like and need and want. And so I think that the more awareness we bring to that, the more support that we'll see for the kiddos who have extra special needs in some way, somehow. So I appreciate all that you do, Rhett. You have been an amazing connection for me, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work together.
Thank you. It's been such an honor for you to have me on. When I listened to your podcast, I instantly was like, yeah, this person, same wavelength. I have to reach out to them and be like, you know what? I'm not a bot. I am real, and I just want to say, like, I know, like, I'm a stranger, but I just listened to your thing, and, like, awesome job. It was a great conversation. Thanks for talking to me on the phone and then inviting me on this wonderful format. I hope it really helps listeners. I am here in California, but I do mobile and remote, like teletherapy, video therapy. I do have clients in Michigan that meet with me through video therapy. So anywhere around the country, really, if you wanted to contact me, I can give a consultation, and we do have some limitations because it is a video screen. But if I'm not working with the kiddos, I do work a lot with the parents so that they understand. Like you said, parents kind of know what their kids need. And I'm like, until they're like, why are they crying? I can't get them to stop. And I'm like, I can help you with that. So thank you, so much for having me on, because I want to really like put the word out there that our slogan is, we're the help that you've been looking for. We're Honorary Godparent is non-religious, but we kind of came up with that idea by thinking we want to be that little extra help, that extra parent. Almost feel like we're part of your family to really get you through the tough time that you're needing to get through and get you back on track. Just to kind of piggyback off of what you said, Danielle, being like that ninja in the morning, we say we want to be the charioteer of our three horses: our physical body, our mind, so our thoughts, and our emotions. And if one of those horses gets out of control, you don't have control of the chariot anymore. So practicing a lot of mindfulness and meditation, being able to quiet the mind, but also, like you said, listen to the thoughts that are trying to guide you, and understand, like, internally that there are things that you do need to listen to, and be able to trust in yourself. And when it's time to quiet that, or when it's time to fast and have control over the physical body and be in charge, and say, no, you're not going to eat right now. I'm going to tell you when you can eat. I know you're hungry, but you're going to wait 5 minutes. You can. So yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I'm hoping to reach a bigger population here and be able to teach in services, especially in public schools, about emotional intelligence, and in the future come up with some sort of teacher curriculum that can be in service, so that some basic, even emotional intelligence 101 can start to really leak out and help these kids a little bit more.
Yeah.
I love that so much. And I love that you work with the parents, because a huge part of being a conscious parent or a conscious person or a loving parent is really kind of starting with yourself and adjusting. You know, we put so much energy in like fixing something about a child, or, you know, or in your term, you're educating emotional awareness and coping skills. But what, you know, we do really need to start with the parent. Like, you know, so I agree. I noticed so much about myself, like raising my voice or just not being present or very responsive to their emotions. And it's so much mirror work, like looking at yourself in order for the child to actually get the skills they need.
I love that you said mirror work.
Yeah.
Like during my intake, like one of the first things I tell the parent is like, I'm a mirror holder and you might not like what I show you. I just like disclaimer alert. Do not be mad at me. Do not at me. Because I have to be like, okay, so here's the thing. Your kiddo's doing this because of something you're doing.
It's hard.
We're not doing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think hopefully that this has shown a little bit of a mirror to anybody who's listening. You know, maybe the sparks just the reach out to learn a little bit more with Rhett here, even if it's just to learn some more about how we can better live. So again, I appreciate you joining us bright and early this morning, Rhett. My name is Graham, owner of Valued Productions. We provide video marketing strategies to businesses. Make sure you follow the Unfiltered Path podcasts on all places podcasts are. Rate it. Top 5-star rating helps push it to more people, and subscribe and all that good stuff. And joined with our awesome co-host here today.
Hey everyone, I'm Trinity Baker. Yes, Rhett, thank you so much for blessing. Thank you. Yeah, make sure you go and like and follow and share the Unfiltered Path podcast, because we want to be here to bring these real, amazing, unfiltered conversations and bring awareness to these amazing topics that we are all passionate about. You can find me on social media, Trinity Baker or the Trinity Baker. I am all about spreading that positivity on social media. So follow me for your daily dose of inspiration. I also have an amazing workshop coming up on April 7th, Mastering Your Inner Peace. So go ahead and go follow me, and I'll invite you to that workshop. And I'm here with my co-host.
Hi, my name is Danielle, the owner of Ariel Jade. You can find me on arieljade.com. You can also live chat with me there. And I am available on most large platforms. Yeah, and I am here with my co-host. Wait, no, I guess.
I'm like, I'll be a co-host today. And I just got a promotion. Yes, I know, but I get to be the guest star. Rhett Strika of Honorary Godparent, the founder. Just right for anybody that's a Will and Grace fan.
I love that. I love that.
Awesome. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you all next week on the Unfiltered Path podcast.